Fast, quiet, and loaded with powerful new weapons, America's latest nuclear submarine is one of the most advanced machines ever built for war. Every part of it shows years of research and smart design, bringing together stealth, long-range travel, and high-tech systems in one powerful underwater vessel. Built to lead on the battlefield, this submarine can move faster, dodge threats, and strike with precision, making it a serious challenge for any enemy beneath the sea. But what makes it so different from older submarines, and how could it change the balance of power around the world, especially now that control of the oceans is more important than ever? Join us as we explore how this new American submarine works, what it can do, and why it's making waves in global defense. For over 40 years, America's nuclear-powered stealth submarines have quietly protected the nation by patrolling oceans across the globe. But now, a new generation is needed. The United States Navy has been working to replace the aging fleet, but building these advanced submarines has a heavy price tag. The project cost at least $130 billion, and it will likely go even higher before it's complete. That might sound like a huge amount, and it is. To put it into perspective, that's more than the entire yearly budget of many countries. America's nuclear weapons are delivered in three main ways: missiles launched from underground silos across the country, bombs dropped from military planes, and warheads fired from stealth submarines deep under the ocean. Together, these three make up what defense experts call the nuclear triad. Out of all three parts, the submarines are considered the most important. Why? Because they are the hardest to detect, even harder to destroy, and they carry enough nuclear weapons to wipe out an entire city. They are basically mobile, hidden missile launchers that can stay underwater for several months, always ready to strike if needed. But there is a problem. The submarines currently in use, the Ohio class, are old. They were designed back in the 1960s and 70s, and they first entered service in 1981. As any military analyst can imagine, keeping them in working condition is becoming more expensive every year. To fix that, the Navy planned to roll out a new class of submarines called the Columbia class. These would be smarter, more advanced, and more reliable. The goal was to build 12 submarines at around $9 billion each, with the first one ready by 2027. Construction on the first Columbia-class submarine began on October 1, 2020. It won't be ready for service until 2031, over 10 years from start to finish, showing just how complicated these machines are to build. On June 3, 2022, the Navy announced the first submarine would be named the USS District of Columbia with hull number SSBN Rate 26. They chose this name to avoid mix-ups with the USS Columbia, which is a different type of submarine already in use. The new Columbia-class submarines were designed by Electric Boat, with support from Newport News Shipbuilding, two of the biggest names in American naval construction. The original plan was to build 12 submarines in total, and work on the first one began in 2021. Each submarine will carry 16 missile tubes, and each will launch a powerful nuclear missile known as the Trident II D5 Life Extension Missile. That is the same type of long-range missile used on today's Ohio-class submarines. From the 9th submarine onward, the Navy plans to upgrade the weapons to a newer version called the Trident II D5 Life Extension II. These submarines are truly enormous. Each one will measure around 560 feet long, about the length of 1.5 football fields, and 43 feet wide. This is the exact length of the older Ohio-class submarines, but the Columbia-class will be about 1 foot wider. That extra space may seem small, but it gives engineers more room to install modern systems, upgraded technology, and improved living quarters for the crew. The planners had to run detailed calculations before deciding how many of these submarines to build. They needed to figure out how many nuclear missiles should be at sea and ready to go at any given time. Then they looked at how many each submarine could carry, and how likely each vessel could stay hidden from enemies while remaining ready to launch if necessary. Another key factor was maintenance. Submarines regularly need time in port for repairs and servicing. So, the Navy had to consider how many submarines would be offline at any moment. This helped determine the total number needed to ensure the United States nuclear weapons are effective and reliable at all times. To keep costs down, the Navy explored different design options. One idea was to add missile tubes to the existing Virginia-class attack submarines. Another was to update the current Ohio-class design and keep building those. The third option was to create a brand new submarine design from scratch. In the end, the Navy decided that building an entirely new design was the most cost-effective way to meet all the technical needs. It might sound strange, but starting fresh turned out to be cheaper in the long run. Here's one example. The other two options, upgrading older submarines, would have required midlife refueling, which is a long, expensive process. However, the Columbia-class submarines come with a major advantage. Each one is built with a nuclear reactor that lasts the entire life of the submarine. That means no refueling is needed, and the submarine can stay in service without having to be taken apart midway through its lifespan. To keep everything on track, the Navy completed a detailed design plan in April 2014. It was a massive 300-page report that listed 159 technical requirements. These included everything from weapons and emergency escape routes to seawater systems, doors, hatches, and internal piping. One key decision in the design was the length, 560 feet. This size allows enough space inside the pressure hull to fit all the complex systems the submarine needs to operate for decades deep under the sea. On July 28, 2016, it was announced that the first submarine in the new Columbia class would be named Columbia to honor the District of Columbia. A few months later, on December 14, 2016, Secretary of the Navy Ray Mabus officially confirmed the name of the class. Then, on October 28, 2020, Navy Secretary Kenneth J. Braithwaite revealed the name of the second submarine in the class. It will be called the USS Wisconsin, named after the U.S. state of Wisconsin. Its hull number is SSBN 827. Two major challenges stand in the way of this massive project: keeping the supply chain running smoothly and having enough skilled workers to build these highly advanced submarines. With so many specialized parts and jobs involved, even a small delay in one area can affect the entire schedule. The new Columbia-class submarines, also known by their earlier name SSBNX, are still in development. Still, the Navy has already outlined several key features that will define these next-generation vessels. Each submarine is designed to serve for an impressive 42 years, during which it will complete about 124 nuclear deterrent patrols. One of the most important upgrades over the older Ohio-class submarines is the nuclear fuel core. While Ohio-class submarines require a complex and expensive midlife refueling, the Columbia-class will be powered by a nuclear core designed to last the entire service life of the submarine, saving both time and money. The new submarines will carry 16 missile launch tubes, fewer than the 24 found on the older Ohio class. However, each tube will be the same size, with a diameter of 87 inches, large enough to hold a Trident II D5 missile, the main long-range nuclear weapon used by the U.S. Navy. Despite having fewer tubes, the Columbia class maintains the same powerful strike capability, with more modern and efficient systems. In other words, the new submarines will have a similar shape and size, but will be packed with more efficient technology and upgraded systems to meet modern needs. According to the United States Navy, the Columbia class must be built with the most advanced stealth and survivability features available. These submarines are expected to remain hidden and mission-ready for their full 40-year lifespan, ensuring they stay relevant and undetectable in an increasingly competitive global environment.